couple of years ago I went up Sani Pass in the newly launched Mitsubishi Pajero Sport. Mostly I was a passenger, but I did get a couple of hours behind the wheel on the open road through to Durban, and I hated it. It was washy, the gearbox was horrid, and to be frank, I didn't really like looking at it. So I wasn't particularly optimistic when this arrived at our offices this week. On the face of it, the 2012 Pajero Sport looks more or less the same as the original one. Very slight cosmetic changes to the lights, but that's pretty much it. The big news is a new transmission. You've now got a 5-speed manual gearbox as opposed to that horribly whiny and searchy 4-speed Tiptronic Auto. And that really is the biggest sweet spot. The gears are grumpy and bucky-like and you really have to shove them in, but that's how it should have been in the first place. The manual gearbox also mates better with the low-range box when you're off-road, and that really is where the Pajero Sport shows its muscle. We're not going to get into too much detail on the 4x4 capabilities of this vehicle because they haven't changed since the original model. Suffice to say, off-road is the home address for this Mitsubishi. It's part-time 4x4 with low range, centre differential and rear diff lock, and its prowess on the tough stuff was the one thing I did appreciate going up Sani Pass. None of that has changed. It's still as brilliant as the 2009 model. This is where you're going to find a few more changes though. The instrument cluster's been revised, as have the ventilation ducts, supposedly to make it look more modern, and I must say it does look a lot more with it than I remember. There are also new style leather seats. Not so sure about the practicality of the colour, but I'm sure that's an option. In the back, the peanut gallery now have their own vents that they can control themselves. Quite nifty the way they've put the control panel here, and also the way that it's integrated into the roof lining so that even the third row of seats get some breeze as well. They've also put a couple of extra storage spaces in, and that's pretty much what's new in this 7-seater, and it's all good. We still love the grunty 3.2-litre engine in the Pajero Sport. It's mighty and it's pretty much on tap. Yes, it is quite thirsty, but that's to be expected. Apparently they haven't done anything to the suspension or the actual bits that affect drive quality, but somehow it just feels so much better than the model that I drove before. Much more stable at high speeds, better around corners, and if you're going somewhere in a hurry, this really is no layabout. All the safety is taken care of too, with 6 airbags, ABS, EBD and traction control. There are a load of features to talk about in the Pajero Sport, not least of which being the space and spec, but none of it's new. And these short and sweet inserts are designed to recap the good, the bad and the ugly of the vehicles we're driving. Quite honestly, this has gone from bad and ugly to just good. I've gone from hating it to almost being in love with it. It's still not my best to look at, and I've never driven a Toyota Fortuner, which is its biggest rival, so I can't say if it's better, but with the new manual option, more people should look at it, and it comes in 10 grand less than the Auto at just over 435,000 rand. That still might be just a little too pricey for those who could be swayed by a Defender or an FJ Cruiser, if you wanted something with a little more personality. And just in case you were wondering, this is a Euro 3 diesel engine, which means it sips 500 ppm, no problem at all. Great for those trips into deep, dark Africa, or even up Sani Pass. Might have to try that again.